origami, math, and a fidget. Today we're going to explore all three of these things as we learn how to make a FlexTangle. For the best ideas in arts integration and SEAL, social, emotional, artistic learning, subscribe to the Inspired Classrooms channel and hit the bell to be notified when we drop a new video. I'm Elizabeth Peterson. Let's get started. This thing is so much fun. It's fun to create. It's fun to use. What is it? It's a FlexTangle. And today I have a special guest, Stacy Greenland, who is an art teacher in Arlington, Massachusetts. And she's also a SEAL teacher. So she knows how to integrate the arts with SEL through social, emotional, artistic learning. Stacy is here today to show you just how to make your own FlexTangle. And as she demonstrates it, consider all the ways to integrate art and math into this super fun origami fidget. The lines, the angles, the attention to precision. All that you need is a printout of the template, which I'll link to under this video, some coloring tools to create your designs, and some tape or glue. Let's get you started to make your own unique FlexTangle.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick video to show you about FlexTangles, those fun paper fidgets that you can make. So obviously this one's a little old. You can see it's like kind of caved in on the corners. That's what happens when they get really well loved and well used by lots of students. But basically this is just how you flip them. You can flip them away from you or towards you. And you can color them any way you want. My favorite way to color them is so that each time you turn it, you've got like a universal color showing on each side. And in order to do that, you want to make sure that you color your pattern in this way so that it's the same color all the way across, okay, each line. And there's going to be 4 sections that you're going to view. So in this one it's purple, blue, green, red, okay. And I was playing around with the idea of making one that had like eyeballs in it, and I tried to do realistic eyeballs and it was kind of complicated and hard to remember, but then I sort of simplified it and I just did like very simple circles. And so this is a pattern that you would want to do if you want all 3 or like all of your images of the same color to meet in the middle. And I can put this one together for you and show you what I mean more about that and how they meet in the middle, because most of these designs I'm showing you are just like solid blocks of color. I mean, you can really color it any way you want. Obviously this one's all just colored the same. So they're really fun no matter what. This is a student one. They've got hearts on one side and then stripes and then zigzags and abstract color bubbles. So lots of fun ways you can do this, and you can color them with crayon or marker or a Sharpie or anything like that. Okay, so this is the pattern that you want to make sure you're printing out. You don't really need all the information at the bottom. And what I've done on one of these is I've just kind of outlined really heavily and thickly in black so you can see how to cut it out with scissors. So you're really just cutting out the very basic shape, and the only part you want to really pay attention to is right here where the tabs are, because you definitely need those tabs. You don't want to cut them off. And then obviously the pattern says glue, but today the reason why I'm mainly making this video is to show you how you can make it with tape instead. It's a lot faster, stronger. And if you think about it, glue, even glue stick, has some moisture in it, and moisture can really affect paper in a bad way. So, oh yeah, let's go ahead and throw together this eyeball one. Alright, so the way you have to fold it, and this is the trickiest part for kids, is on these vertical dotted lines, you want to fold them towards you. Okay, so like making what they would call this in origami a valley fold, because you're creating a valley. If I was folding it this way, it'd be a mountain fold. That can be confusing for some people. But basically, on these dotted lines, you want to just match it up to the next dotted line and really crease it hard. All right, like if you've got a fingernail, just go ahead and scrape your fingernail across there. Or sometimes people like using those bone folders for origami. Whatever you do, just make sure you crease it really tightly and right on that line. If you crease it really tightly, not on that line, the paper is never really gonna forget what you did, and it's always gonna be that way. Okay, and then for the other folds, these diagonal ones, you fold them the opposite way. So the hard thing about the dotted line was you couldn't really see what you're doing because you're folding it against it. But the good thing about those diagonal lines is you can see the edge of those lines on your paper. So you're basically going to do 1 fold, 2, 3, and 4 in one direction, and then you do the other direction, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then you've got a paper that kind of looks like this. And the cool thing about it is that you can see that these parts already want to come together. Okay, so you've got your glue tabby bits, your middle, and I always like to assemble the middle first because it's like stronger that way. It's got a good core, and then you can work your way out. When you tape it, you want to cut a piece of tape that's almost the same length as the seam you're trying to cover. You don't want it bigger or too much smaller. Okay, because if it's bigger, then you're going to have extra tape to deal with, and you don't know where it's going to go. If it's smaller, it's not going to close the whole gap. All right, so what I do is I lay my tape halfway on. I'm pretty happy with it. Once I'm happy with it, I just fold it over gently. All right, sometimes you'll get a little bit of extra. You can just fold that over too. But that's why you don't want a giant piece of tape, because you'll have all this extra stuff. All right, so obviously I'm going to need 2 pieces just to hold this middle part together. All right, now I'll do one of the ends. I'm going to do them the same way. All right, it's hard to hold this and do tape at the same time. But so my tape pieces are like a little over 1 inch, maybe 1 1/4 inches. Try and be pretty consistent and not be too wrinkly. And don't rush this because this is like going to make or break your model, so take your time. Okay, got 2 more pieces on this part. So this is the opposite end that I haven't done yet. Laying my tape halfway on, folding it over. And now we have this cool kind of bumpy snake looking thing. All right, so let me just rotate it so you can see what it looks like. All right, so there's different ways to put this together. You basically just want to bring your ends to meet themselves, but you can see that that's even tricky. Like, you don't want them to meet this way because then you can't really insert your tabs very easily. So you kind of want to do it sideways so that your opening and your tabs can go together like this. And then, as you guessed it, we want the same size piece of tape to close that seam right there. And then flip it over and do another piece on the other side, right here. And that's it. And so now, the first time you use it, just be really gentle. You know, if it starts to go wrong, don't force it to go wrong. Just like, you know, sometimes you need to run your hands across those seams to help it go smoothly. Try and do it in both directions. And I usually tell students that you're just trying to like baby it, trying to train it to work correctly. And if you do that the first few times, if you train it correctly and you don't just like smash it in the wrong way, it will work for years. These things can last a long time. And as I said, they get a little, you know, just kind of like warped or shallow after they've been used a lot. And they're nice and chunky and full when they're first made. So this is the eyeball design that you saw earlier, where all the images meet in the middle, more or less. All right, so have fun making flex tangles. They're totally fun. Your kids will love them. And it's just really challenging to look at the pattern and think, you know, how am I going to fill that in? You know, what would look really good for that pattern? All right, good luck.
So there you go, how to make a flex tangle. Now, I also want you to consider the therapeutic benefits to making something like this. Imagine yourself or your students creating one of these really calmly, creating your designs while you play some great music, set up yourself for some success, and if you make a mistake, no worries, just go with it. And as you fold the paper, take in some of those nice deep breaths and work slowly and at your own pace. There's really no rush here. So go ahead and make your own flex tangle and then share this video with your friends and use it with your students so that they can make their own unique flex tangles. I'm Elizabeth Peterson from the Inspired Classroom. Enjoy.